Good evening. Before we begin our board meeting this evening, board member Mr. Ellis Alexander will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Prior to the pledge, Mr. Charles Looney, a senior at Hahnville High School, will lead us in a moment of reflection. Charles is a member of the Hahnville High School Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Beta Club. He is also Air Force Junior ROTC Group Commander, holding the rank of Cadet Colonel.
Wow.
And is the commander of Hahnville High School's unarmed exhibition and color guard drill teams. Charles plays the bass drum in the Hahnville High School band, as well as being in the symphonic band. He is a member of varsity country club and track, cross country and track. Outside of school, Charles is active in his youth group at First Baptist Church Luland and cadet commander in the Pontchartrain Cadet Squadron of the Civil Air Patrol, holding the rank of Cadet First Lieutenant. After Charles graduates from Hahnville in May, Charles plans to attend Mississippi College in Clinton, Mississippi, majoring in worship leadership and participate in the marching band. Charles, you're clearly a very busy young man. Thank you for joining us this evening to lead us in a moment of reflection. Keep up the good work and best wishes in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand.
Lord, first off, I would like to thank you for allowing us to wake up and conquer the day. Thank you for gifting us the life that we live and blessing us as we continue to work our way towards your kingdom. Thank you for allowing these amazing people to get together and meet today to help make our schools better for our generation coming into the world. I ask that you give them words of wisdom, Lord, and that you bless them with the Holy Spirit. Finally, we thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to take our burdens and sins upon the cross. Because of him, we are set free from our transgressions, and we praise you. Lord, guide, guard, and direct us in all the things that we do, and let them all result in your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting of the Board of the St. Charles Parish Public Schools is called to order. Madam Secretary, please note for the record that all board members are in attendance except for Mr. Jay Robichaux. Also in attendance this evening is our Superintendent, Dr. Ken Ortling, as well as Ms. Shelley Babineau, who is the Executive Secretary for the Superintendent and the Board. The first items on the agenda this evening, we have a number of resolutions and proclamations, starting with item 2.01, the Louisiana School Board Recognition Month Resolution. Mr. Smith, would you read that resolution for us, please?
I'll be happy to, Mr. Suffren. Whereas the mission of the public schools is to meet the diverse educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society and an ever-changing world. And whereas local school board members are committed to children and believe that all children can be successful learners and that the best education is tailored to the individual needs of the child. And whereas local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students. And whereas local school board members are responsible for ensuring the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system, and whereas local school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectation to the district. Now, therefore, we do hereby declare January 2022 as School Board Recognition Month. I so move for its adoption.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion?
Mr. President, this time I'd like to say a few comments relative to the board as well as our previous past board president. It is with profound respect, admiration, and gratitude that I thank each and every one of you for your dedicated service to this school system and community. As citizens who serve students and represent their communities, you face immeasurable, complex, and demanding challenges. These last 2 years have been a testament to not just our students and employees' ability to overcome challenges and demanding challenges. These years have also been a reflection of your ability to adapt to ever-changing environment and challenges to help us accomplish our mission of developing empathetic, involved, productive, and responsible citizens while providing every student high-quality educational opportunities that empower them to become enthusiastic lifelong learners. Your leadership in the face of adversity has helped successfully guide our system through an ever-changing global pandemic and one of the most catastrophic hurricanes to impact St. Charles Parish Public Schools and our community. While the month of January is designated as School Board Recognition Month, we would like to personally thank each and every one of you for exemplifying adaptability, flexibility, understanding, and grace. At this time, I'd like to say a few special words about our previous past president, Ms. Melinda Bernard. Ms. Melinda Bernard, first, I'd like to thank you for your past year of service as board president. You have led us through an extraordinarily challenging yet productive year. Despite the many trials and setbacks, you helped guide this system with the board through one of the most catastrophic events to impact our system and community in Hurricane Ida, while also continuing to respond to the challenges of the global pandemic. With you and the board's approval and support, we continue to make significant investments in social emotional wellness needs of our students, prioritize early literacy and district literacy initiatives, instituted the Rewards Perks program for employees, and approved a much-deserved one-time payment for our employees as well. Additionally, we continue to see numerous distinguished recognitions, including but not limited to Ms. Tina Chasson being recognized as the Louisiana School Counselor Association's Counselor of the Year, and NISH's #3 best school districts in Louisiana, while we should be #1. But we are #1 best school district in the New Orleans area. These accomplishments are significant and allow us to continue fulfilling our mission and continue making a difference for each and every student at every moment. Thank you for your support and your commitment to our students, employees, and community. Here's a token and memento for your service that hopefully you'll keep somewhere nice.
How sweet. It was truly my honor and a privilege to serve last year as board president, and I thank you all for your support. We work with fantastic people in this district, and anybody that doesn't recognize the effort that everyone puts in hasn't spent much time around this fabulous group of people. So thank you so much, Dr. Orling. I appreciate your comments.
Thank you. And at this time, I'd actually like to invite our Public Information Director, or Director of Public Information, Ms. Stevie Crevetta, who also wants to share a few words about each board member. And we ask that you stand as your name as you are being recognized. Ms. Crevetta.
Yes, good evening, and thank you, Dr. Ortling. It is my honor to share some additional remarks regarding our 8 school board members in honor of School Board Recognition Month. I'll begin with our current president, Mr. Alex L. Suffren, representing District 8. Alex L. Suffren was elected to the school board in 2006 and began serving in 2007. A native of Plaquemine, he graduated from Plaquemine High School and went on to receive his bachelor's degree from Nichols State University. He then earned his pre-CPA from LSU. Mr. Suffren has worked as an accountant for a number of years. He is current chairman of the Finance and Audit Committee and also serves on the Capital Improvements Committee and the Risk Management and Insurance Committee. In addition to Mr. Suffren's service on the school board, he is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, Louisiana School Boards Association, Catholic Charities Archdiocese of New Orleans, and St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Church. He is married to Deborah G. Suffren, has 3 children and 8 grandchildren, and resides in Destrehan. Arthur A. Oquin. Vice President, District 7. Arthur A. Oquin was elected to the school board in 2010 and began serving in 2011. He is a native of Hahnville, a 1982 graduate of Hahnville High School. He went on to receive his bachelor's degree in general studies from Nicholls State University. He then taught and coached for 8 years in St. Charles Parish Public Schools and recently retired from Bayer as a senior environmental technician. This year, Mr. Oquin chairs the Risk Management and Insurance Committee and serves on the Legislative and the Personnel and Policy Committee. In addition to Mr. Oquin's service on the school board, he is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, National Federation of Urban and Suburban School Districts, Louisiana School Boards Association, the Knights of Columbus, Hahnville High School Touchdown Club, HBA, H Club, and Holy Family Catholic Church. He is married to Suzanne Oquin, has 3 children and 1 grandchild, and resides in Luling. Ellis A. Alexander, District 1. Ellis A. Alexander Sr. was elected to the school board in 2006 and began serving in 2007. He's a native of Hahnville and a 1966 graduate of G.W. Carver High School. He went on to attend the University of New Orleans, Loyola University, and Nicholls State University. Mr. Alexander is retired after more than 35 years in the workforce. He serves as chairman of the Transportation Committee and also serves on the Capital Improvements and Technology Committees. In addition to Mr. Alexander's service on the school board, he is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, Louisiana School Boards Association, Louisiana Caucus of Black School Board Members, and Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary Catholic Church. He received his Distinguished Board Member Award in 2010 from NSBA, was recognized as a Friend of Public Education in 2006 by LSBA, and received the Martin Luther King Jr. Trailblazer Award in 2016. He is married to Christine Bart Alexander, has 4 children and 2 grandchildren, and resides in Hahnville. Melinda H. Bernard, District 2. Melinda Huff Bernard was elected to the school board in 2010 and began serving in 2011. She is a native of Luling and a 1972 graduate of Hahnville High School. She went on to receive her bachelor's degree from Nicholls State University in elementary education and her master's degree in school administration from the University of New Orleans. Ms. Bernard is retired after serving as a teacher and principal for 25 years in St. Charles Parish Public Schools. She is currently the chairperson of the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee and serves on the Technology Committee and the Transportation Committee. In addition to Ms. Bernard's service on the school board, she is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, Louisiana School Boards Association, and Holy Family Catholic Church. She is married to Michael Bernard, has 1 daughter and 2 grandchildren, and resides in Luling. Dennis J. Nachan, District 3. Dennis J. Nachan was elected to the school board in 2006 and began serving in 2007. A native of Kenner, he graduated from Archbishop Rummel High School in 1975 and went on to receive his bachelor's degree in marketing from the University of New Orleans. Mr. Nachan is a retired business owner. For the year 2022, he chairs the Capital Improvements Committee and serves on the Finance and Audit Committee and the Transportation Committee. In addition to Mr. Nachan's service on the school board, he is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, Louisiana School Boards Association, St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Church, SCB Men's Club, and Red Church Council Knights of Columbus. He also volunteers as a mentor and a Destrehan nursing home. He's married to Karen Charles Nachan, has 2 children, and resides in Destrehan. Clarence H. Sonny, as we know him, Savoy, District 4. Clarence H. Sonny Savoy was elected to the school board in 1986 and began serving in 1987. He is a native of Des Allemands and a 1959 graduate of Hahnville High School. He then went on to work for Texaco Chevron, for 32 years before retiring, and now works part-time at a local golf course. He is current chairman of the Personnel and Policy Committee and sits on the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee, as well as the Finance and Audit Committee. In addition to Mr. Suffren's service on the school board, he is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, Louisiana School Boards Association, National Federation of Urban and Suburban School Districts, National PTA Board of Directors, National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, National High School Hall of Fame Selection Committee, Louisiana State Parent Teacher Association, Louisiana Board of Regents, St. Charles Public Schools Foundation, the American Legion, and St. John the Baptist Catholic Church. He has held several national and state positions, including being elected president of the National School Boards Association, National Federation of Urban and Suburban School Districts, Louisiana School Boards Association, and the Louisiana State Parent and Teacher Association. He has also received numerous awards on the national and state level, including the 2008 Louisiana School Board Member of the Year. He is married to Merle Dejean Savoy, has 2 children and 4 grandchildren, and resides in Paradis. John L. Smith, District 5. John L. Smith was elected to the school board in 1982 and began serving in 1983. He is a native of St. Rose and a 1959 graduate of Mary Bethune High School. He went on to earn a degree in speech, social studies, and school administration from Southern University. Mr. Suffren is retired after more than 30 years. Mr. Smith is retired after more than 30 years as a teacher and coach. This year, he chairs the Legislative Committee, serves on the Personnel and Policy Committee, and the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee. In addition to Mr. Smith's service on the school board, he is involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, Louisiana School Boards Association, Louisiana Caucus of Black School Board Members, Fifth African Baptist Church, and the River Parish Golf Association. He has served in numerous roles on the state level as a 2-time president of the Louisiana School Boards Association and has been recognized by a number of local and state organizations for his outstanding contribution to education and the community. He is married to Evelyn Smith, has 2 children and 9 grandchildren, and resides in St. Rose. Mr. John Smith. And Mr. John W.J. Robichaux was elected to the school board from District 6 in 2002 and began serving in 2003. He is a native of Norco and a 1986 graduate of Destrehan High School. He went on to receive his bachelor's degree in general studies from Nicholls State University. Mr. Robichaux has worked in the insurance business for more than 20 years, and in 2021, he was selected as the executive director of the Louisiana's River Parishes Tourist Commission. He's currently chairman of the Technology Committee and also serves on the Legislative and Risk Management and Insurance Committees. In addition to Mr. Robichaux's service on the school board, he's involved in community and professional organizations as a member of the National School Boards Association, National Federation of Urban and Suburban School Districts, Louisiana School Boards Association, Norco Economic Development Fund, Norco Community Advisory Panel, River Parish Community Development Corporation, Norco Civic Association, and Our Lady of Perpetual Help Catholic Church. He was also elected to the Nuff Said Board of Directors, and in 2018 was elected president. He is married to Denise Darsh Robichaux, has 3 children, and resides in Norco. And at this time, it is my honor to introduce 2 of our high school students of the year, Ms. Gracie Crochet from Hahnville, as well as Mr. Bodhi Ravapati from Destrehan High School, to share a few remarks from the students' perspective regarding our school board members.
Good evening. Sorry. Good evening. My name is Gracie Crochet, the student of the year from Hahnville High School. I've always heard our board members introduced at various events I've attended, and I knew they had an important role to play in our educational system. However, I honestly had no idea how much of an impact they truly have until I began researching for this speech. In this research, I uncovered the multitude of responsibilities that our school board members have, all of which contribute to St. Charles Parish Public Schools being an effective school district. On top of creating the policies that are enforced throughout the parish, our board members work with all levels of government to appropriately make decisions, all the while listening to the public's questions and concerns. Every single member has dedicated their time and energy into making sure this school system works well. And I've noticed that many of them also go above and beyond for the students and staff of our school. I've seen school board members at our band concerts, athletic activities, and public events such as the Alligator Festival. For example, Mr. Ellis Alexander has been taking photos at Hahnville High School football games for years. He even sent my parents a picture of me marching with the band my freshman year, a picture that still hangs in my mom's classroom today. What I've noticed the most about our school board members is their visibility. They are active in our community, making themselves known to students, staff, and parents. Not only are their jobs incredibly involved, but they make time to support the members of our community. On behalf of the student body of Hahnville High School and our students all across the district, I would like to thank all of our school board members for your service and dedication. Your jobs are not easy by any means. Trust me, I read the descriptions. And the decisions you make can certainly be taxing, especially in the past few years. But despite the hurdles, you overcome and you make a difference in this community. I'm grateful for having the opportunity to thrive in such an amazing school system, and that in part is because of you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Ooh, jump it up. Ooh. Oh my gosh, it was cold outside today. Thank you for this opportunity. It's great to be here, and it's great to talk to such a wonderful group of people tonight. I don't have much wisdom to share tonight, as you can clearly see by me wearing a bright red shirt with dark blue pants. Not a very good choice, but that's not why I was invited to speak today, because there's so many people here so much wiser than me with decades of experience in public service. So instead, I'll try to share a perspective of what I know from being here for the short time that I have. So I came to St. Charles Parish when I was about 7 or 8, and it was an amazing experience to be here. I knew English by quite a good margin, but I had a little bit of an accent, much to the enjoyment of my classmates at the time. But and at the time, it was amazing being here, but it was also a shock, as you can imagine. And always with shocks, you get a little bit of cynicism when you come to these new places, and you get a little bit of doubt in yourself. And that little piece of doubt has been carried with me through the years I've been here, through elementary school, when I first came, through middle school, and through high school, in fact. But there was one moment in high school that dramatically changed my perspective on life and being here today. That's what I want to share with you today. So it was the middle of the pandemic that had hit, and my cynicism had reached a peak, if you have it. I was quiet in class, I didn't know much of what to say, and at that point, I was feeling down about myself and my classmates too. But something happened over the summer, over March, when the school shut down that changed my perspective dramatically. And that was me joining up online to use the skills I learned through my robotics team, through locally funded activities, and join online programming competitions such as that was held in Louisiana and around the world. And in those opportunities, I found myself in a place where I could do whatever I wanted. I could achieve whatever I could. The ceiling was infinite. And when I got to these places, I understood that the reason that we have so much hope in our communities is that the empowerments that we were given with education can extend way beyond these classrooms and way beyond these ceilings, how high as they may see in this new POC. But And seeing how that could do, I joined up these competitions. I continually failed. I continually lost these competitions until I met one person who has changed my life dramatically. And that was my friend Joshua Boyd online, who is a graduate of Harvard Business School and who joined with me and shared my experiences. And so together, we could find a solution to the pandemic and Zoom and so many solutions that, so many problems that we found that he found through my experiences being here. And seeing how my personal experiences and my challenges could empower a new product, to empower a product where we can meet directly with schools and directly with communities and businesses and work base with them and create software solutions that can better their experiences, our experiences, has changed my life so much. And seeing that, seeing what I could do was such a contrast to the citizen that I bore before. And I knew that if the past self could see me now, he would hate what he saw, and that just made it even better. So to be in that position is amazing to me. So to leave you with this, I encourage you not to hate bureaucracy or not to hate the role because it's different, but to love it because of what it stands for, and not to hate school board meetings because there might be cold outside or maybe too hot inside, or because you wore a red shirt and bright blue pants, but to love it because of what they stand for, and to love the people who came to be in this place with decades of public service, to encourage you to be better every day, and who empower you with the opportunities to make yourself better and make the world around you better. Thank you for this opportunity, thank you for listening, and thank you for people who have served so much to make our lives better and your lives better along the way.
Thank you for those nice remarks, Gracie and Bodie. Any other discussion? If not, let's vote. That motion passes. The next item is item 2.02, School Board Member Training Resolution. Mr. Savoy, would you please read that resolution for us?
It will be my pleasure, Mr. President. Whereas each member of a city or parish school board shall receive a minimum of 6 hours of training and instruction as required by Act 705 of the 2011 Louisiana State Legislature. And whereas this training and instruction shall consist of school laws of this state, laws of governing the powers, duties, and responsibilities of city and parish school boards, educational trends, research, and policy. And whereas such instruction may be received from an institution of higher education in this state, from instruction sponsored by State Department of Education, or by an in-service training program conducted by a city or parish school board, central office, or the Louisiana Boards of Education, or sessions provided by the National School Boards Association. Whereas each member of a city and parish school board shall receive 1 hour of ethics training per year of their tenure as board members. Now therefore be it resolved that it became public record that Ellis Alexander, Arthur A. Oquan, Melinda H. Bernard, Dennis J. Nachan, John W. Robichaud, John L. Smith, and Clarence H. Savoy, and Alex L. Suffren, members of the St. Charles Parish School Board, have successfully received and exceeded the 6 hours of required training as mandated by the Legislature of Louisiana, and all board members have fulfilled the mandate of 1 hour ethics training for the year 2021. And Mr. President, so I move for its adoption.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? No discussion? Please vote. That motion carries. Item 2.03, National School Counselors Week Proclamation. Mr. Nachan, would you read that proclamation for us?
It'd be my pleasure, Mr. President.
St. Charles Parish Public Schools Counselors Week Proclamation. Whereas school counselors are employed in the schools to help students reach their full potential, whereas school counselors are actively committed to helping students explore their abilities, strengths, interests, and talents, as these traits relate to career awareness and development. And whereas school counselors help parents focus on ways to further the educational, personal, and social growth of their children. And whereas school counselors work with teachers and other educators to help students explore their potential and set realistic goals for themselves. And whereas school counselors seek to identify and utilize community resources that can enhance and complement comprehensive school counseling programs and help students become productive members of society. And whereas comprehensive developmental school counseling programs are considered an integral part of the educational process that enables all students to achieve success in schools. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish School Board, hereby proclaim February 7th through the 11th, 2022 as School Counselors Week in St. Charles Parish Public Schools, and urge all students as well as parents and guardians to become familiar with and utilize the essential and supportive services offered by our school counselors. And Mr. President, I move approval of this proclamation.
Second?
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, second by Mrs. Bernard. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I'd like to say a few words and invite Dr. Alice Carr-Sumler, Counseling and Student Support Specialist, to the podium to recognize those counselors in attendance. As she's making her way to the podium, school counselors truly embody our motto of every student matters and every moment counts. They care and assist students at all levels, from elementary to high school. They act as advocates for our students' well-being and serve to help their academic achievement, career readiness, and social-emotional development, thus ensuring they become productive citizens that are future-ready. Counselors that are in attendance tonight, thank you, especially during this tremendously challenging time, for your dedication to our students, their growth, and success. Dr. Alice Carr-Sumler.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to recognize the counselors who are here. We have Jacqueline Walther from Hornville High School. Karen Pepe from Ethel Scheffner Elementary School. Lori Gonzalez, Mimosa Elementary School. Rosemary Ahern, Hornville High School. We had a few other counselors who were planning to come, but they are dealing with some issues with COVID, so we just keep them in our thoughts and prayers. But I do want to recognize our outstanding administrators who came out to support our counselors tonight. We have Miss Angie Butler, Mimosa Park Elementary School. Ms. Jennifer Foss was here from Hornville, but she had to step away. Mr. Jose Gonzalez, Hornville High School Principal. Mr. Sean Heighton, Hornville High School Assistant Principal. And Mr. Jason Madier, Destrehan High School. Thank you again for this opportunity. And the theme for National School Counselors Week is School Counseling Better Together. So I'm really glad our administrators came out tonight, because we cannot do this alone. Thank you again.
And again, on behalf of the board, thank you, counselors, for the great work that you do in the district. Any further discussion? No discussion, please vote. That motion passes. Item 2.04, 2022 Digital Citizenship Month Proclamation. Mrs. Bernard, would you read that proclamation for us?
It would be my pleasure. Digital Citizenship Month Proclamation. Whereas St. Charles Parish Public Schools recognizes that our students are members of an increasingly connected digital society, and whereas curriculum, instruction, and assessment is increasingly being accessed through a variety of online learning platforms that transform the way our students explore, create, connect, and learn, and whereas St. Charles Parish Public Schools uses digital resources to provide innovative, meaningful, and equitable educational experiences across the district, and whereas St. Charles Parish Public Schools is committed to creating a culture of learning that prepares students to become future-ready, and whereas St. Charles Parish Public Schools is committed to supporting educators and parents in preparing students to use digital media while limiting the risks of the online world, such as loss of privacy, cyberbullying, and copyright infringement. And whereas raising awareness of responsible digital citizenship is beneficial to the safety and well-being of our students, their families, and St. Charles Parish, now therefore be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board hereby proclaim the month of February 2022 Digital Citizenship Month. And I move approval of this proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bernard, seconded by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 2.05, Career and Technical Education Month Proclamation. Mr. O'Quinn, would you read that proclamation for us?
I'd be honored, Mr. President. Whereas the month of February 2022 has been designated Career and Technical Education Month by the Association for Career and Technical Education, and whereas profound economic and technological changes in our society are rapidly reflected in the structure and nature of work, thereby placing new and additional responsibilities on our educational system. And whereas career and technical education provides Americans with school-to-careers connections and is the backbone of a strong, well-educated workforce which fosters productivity in business and industry and contributes to America's leadership in our international marketplace. And whereas career and technical education gives high school students experience in practical, meaningful applications of basic skills such as reading, writing, mathematics, thus improving the quality of their education, motivating potential dropouts, and giving all students leadership opportunities in their fields and in their communities. And whereas career and technical education offers individuals lifelong opportunities to learn new skills which provide them with career choices and potential satisfaction. And whereas the ever-increasing cooperative efforts of career and technical educators, business and industry stimulate the growth and vitality of our local economy and that of the entire nation by preparing graduates for career field forecasts to experience the largest and fastest growth in the next decade. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish School Board, in conjunction with the Association for Career and Technical Education, hereby proclaim the month of February 2022 as Career and Technical Education Month and urge all citizens to become familiar with the services and benefits offered by the career and technical education programs in this community and to support and participate in these programs to enhance their individual work skills and productivity. Mr. President, I move that we adopt this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. O'Quinn, seconded by Mr. Savoy. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, I'd like to invite Mr. Ronnie Seal, School of Career Curriculum Specialist, to recognize our wonderful career and technical teachers that may be here and say a few words about career and technical education. Mr. Seal.
Good evening, Superintendent and esteemed board members, and thank you. Career and technical education enables opportunities and empowers students. Career and technical education provides context for learning and practicing not only technical but also academic and life skills, skills that can lead to prosperity. Career and technical education should never be perceived as an elective, Rather, CTE should always be considered a priority. Every year, your proclamation that February will be recognized as CTE month reinforces and affirms our district's belief that CTE is a priority. Your proclamation sends an unmistakable message to our CTE educators who have devoted their careers to equipping students with these skills, even in the midst of extraordinary professional and personal challenges, that you believe what they do matters. Your continued support and the dedication of our CTE educators are the steel that provides the strength to our bridge that carries our students from school to careers, so that even when prolonged storms come, the bridge stands strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seal. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion carries. We'll now move into our recognitions, beginning with item 3.01, St. Charles Parish Public Schools United Way Campaign. Director of Public Information, Stevie Crivetta, will present to the board the results of the 2021 School System United Way Campaign. Ms. Crivetta.
Thank you, Mr. Suffren, and good evening again. I would first like to thank the superintendent and board members for giving me this opportunity to share the results of our 2021 United Way campaign. As we all know, the fall of 2021 did present us with a new challenge in dealing with a Category 4 hurricane that hit St. Charles Parish. But the school system has a long-standing partnership with the United Way of St. Charles, and we knew that the United Way was stepping up to help our community in ways that have never been needed before. So we remained committed to doing our part and doing what we could to once again hold a United Way campaign. I'm pleased to say that we had 360 employees who donated this year through our United Way campaign, either through a direct payroll deduction or through a direct gift. And we also were mindful this year of our campaign with our employees as well as our students and our families that many were dealing with their own personal challenges, some of those including additional financial expenses related to the storm. So we did modify our campaign and our strategy in that sense to be mindful and respectful of the challenges that our community was currently facing. So with that in mind, I'm still really excited and honored to say that the school system raised more than $50,000 from United Way. And I am proud to announce that our exact total this year for United Way that we raised as a school system is $56,324.78. And we are truly unique as a school system in the fact that we are unable to give any type of corporate match. So this giving truly comes from the hearts of our employees as well as our students and our families who participate in many special events and dress down days for United Way. So at this time, Dr. Ortling, as well as School Board President Mr. Suffren, will come to the front to present United Way's Executive Director, Mr. John Diaz, who is here with us this evening with a check for $56,324.78.
Thank you. As I was sitting here, I reflected on the last couple of years, and I think something that's become clear is that strong relationships build strong communities, and strong communities endure. And the strength of our community really starts with the wonderful public school system we have here with you all, board members, employees, and as the United Way director, we're very, very grateful for you and the great relationship we have. So thank you all very much.
So finally, the next item on the agenda, what most people are waiting on, is item 3.02, which is the board and superintendent's recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Oakland. So we will now move on to board and superintendent's recognition. Destrehan High School students are swimming district champions. In the 50-yard and 500-yard freestyle, Colin Candabat, who was also named the swimmer of the meet at the Metro Swimming Championship. District champion in the 100-yard breaststroke, Jake Stibe, who was also named the Metro champion in the 100-yard breaststroke at the Metro Championship meet. District champions in the boys 200-yard freestyle relay, Colin Candabat, Jake Stibe, and Joshua Stokes. Because y'all are also district champions in the boys 200-yard medley relay. Again, Colin Candabat, Jake Stibe, Joshua Stokes, and I believe Nathan Noel has joined us as well. Thank you. And we also have Nathan Noel as a district champion in the 100-yard breaststroke. Backstroke, excuse me. School system students placed at the American All-Star Louisiana State Dance Team Championship. Third place, the trio of Ashley Perino, Madison Troxler, Sarah Waits from J.B. Martin Middle School. Solo, Lexi Ford from J.B. Martin Middle School. Second place, duet, Hannah Burst and Cecilia Cody from Harryhurst Middle School. Solo, Maria Lockwood from Destrehan High School. First place, Carson and Lexi Ford from J.B. Martin Middle School. And solo first place, Carson Ford, J.B. Martin Middle School. Moving on to teams. School dance teams placed at the Universal Dance Association Louisiana Dance Team Challenge and the American All-Star Louisiana State Dance Team Championship. Destrehan High School Dusty Darlings, represented by coaches McKay Voges and Kayla Ruffin, as well as Dusty's in attendance. American All-Star, first in division in overall choreography and technique awards for game day. First in division, second overall choreography award for hip hop. First in division, third overall for jazz. First overall in sweepstakes. At UDA, first place jazz, first place game day, second place hip hop. Dusty Darlings and coaches, please come forward. Hahnville High School High Steppers, coaches Kylie Voges and McKay Voges, as well as High Steppers. American All-Star results, first in division, second overall for kick, third in division for jazz. At UDA, third in kick and third in jazz. High Steppers and coaches. Harryhurst Middle School runnerettes, coaches Missy Rome and Lauren Wagisback, as well as runnerettes. American All-Star, first in division and first overall choreography and technique awards for Palm, first in division and first overall for game day, first for officer ensemble, and third overall for sweepstakes. At UDA, first in Palm and second in game day. Runnerettes and coaches. And the J.B. Martin Middle School Cougarettes, coaches Elizabeth Rogel and Emily Landry. All-American, first in division and overall, technique award for jazz. First in division, second overall for Palm, second overall for sweepstakes. And at UDA, second place in Palm and second place in jazz. Coaches and Cougarettes, congratulations.
Wow, we are such a well-rounded district, and that was once again evident this evening with the recognitions of the volleyball and swimming athletes, as well as the dance team members and teams. On behalf of the school board, congratulations to all of you. We are proud of the distinction that you bring to the district, and we encourage you to keep excelling at the highest level. Again, congratulations. At this time, we will... We will now take a short recess, and we'll convene in 2 or 3 minutes for the business portion of the meeting. Okay, we're now back in session to conduct the business portion of the meeting, starting with item 4.01, minutes, December 13th, 2021, reapportionment public hearing, December 13th, 2021 committee meetings, and December 15th, 2021 regular board meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.02, health insurance, self-funded. The district is currently under a fully funded health insurance plan. At the January 14th, 2022 board retreat, the board discussed the advantages and disadvantages of moving to a self-funded insurance plan. Moving from fully funded to self-funded is expected to result in financial savings for the district without adversely impacting employees. This agenda item was reviewed at the Risk Management and Insurance Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
I move that we approve the transition to a self-funded health insurance plan.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. O'Quinn, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion?
Mr. President, at this time, I'd like to call Jesse Babin up with USI to give a brief explanation about how benefits are not going to change, but the way we fund it is, and Mr. Babin can explain that.
Thank you. Good evening. First of all, I would like to say that in the long time I have been the consultant for this board, it is very apparent that you always have the employees in mind when you're making decisions about their medical plans and all the other benefits that we handle, as well as the cost of the programs, and you're very in tune to what that would be, and you're very careful in how you budget for that. Having said that, we have always been fully insured, which means we pay a set premium to the insurance carrier, and basically, you know, if we pay them more money than they need, they keep it. If we pay them less, if we pay them more money than they need, they keep the extra. If there's more claims paid than we pay them, then they, of course, would take a loss. By going partially self-funded, which is what we're talking about, we're just going to share in the way we pay the premiums to the insurance company. It does give the board an opportunity to save money over the next few years, and every year when we have looked at this, it is very apparent that this year the numbers tell us that we should consider going self-funded. It does not change the underlying benefits to the employees or the retirees. We currently offer 5 plans to the active employees and retirees. Those plans that they are in now will not change. The deductibles, co-insurance, co-payments will remain the same. So whether we're fully insured or self-funded, the actual benefits that the employees enjoy and enroll in will be the same. There may be some changes that the insurance companies make to all of their plans, not just St. Charles, but to all of the plans they write in the state. That would be the same whether we're fully insured or self-funded, but we're not changing any plans, and the board wants to go self-funded and keep the plans in place that we have now.
Thank you, Mr. Babin.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Mr. Babin. Hearing no discussion, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.03, Cyber Liability Insurance Renewal. The board purchases cyber liability insurance to financially protect the district from cyber attack claims brought against St. Charles Parish Public Schools by third parties. Current coverage expired for cyber insurance, allowing time to implement additional security measures to ensure a more favorable cyber liability insurance quote. The Risk Management and Insurance Committee recommends continuation of the cyber liability package with Tokyo Marine. This agenda item was reviewed at the Risk Management and Insurance Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
I move approval of the renewal of the cyber liability insurance renewal with Tokyo Marine at a cost of $10,689.46.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. O'Quinn, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.04, approval of enrolling firm for employee benefits. Requests for qualifications were requested from 9 firms for employee benefits enrollment. The Employee Benefits Committee, comprised of 10 employees from several departments, received 2 responses to the request for qualifications. The proposals were reviewed, evaluated, and scored based upon the criteria set forth in the request for qualifications and received oral presentations. Approval of the selection of AGM Benefit Solutions provides the district with high-quality services. This item was reviewed at the Risk Management and Insurance Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and aligns with Goal B of the board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move we approve the selection of AGM Benefit Solution as the district's enrolling firm for employee benefits, and it's at no cost to the district.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Oquin, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.05, Annual Comprehensive Financial Audit, Fiscal Year 2021. LaPorte CPAs and Advisors completed the financial audit on December 29, 2021 for fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021. The audit report is presented for acceptance by the board. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the annual comprehensive financial audit for fiscal year 2021.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Savoy. In attendance this evening to present the audit to us is Mr. Mickey Simon, who is the director in charge of our audit, representing our external audit firm, LaPorte CPAs and Advisors. Mr. Simon?
Good evening, and on behalf of LaPorte CPAs and Business Advisors, we appreciate the opportunity to serve as the school board's auditor. I'd also like to recognize the business office for, our field work was set to take place in September, and we all know what happened right before that. Made it a challenge for them, but of course they responded quickly, and we were able to meet the state reporting deadline, so that's a kudos to them. The results of our audit are in that the opinion on the financial statements was unmodified. That is your clean opinion on the financial statements, which says that they are fairly stated in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Our other opinions are under government auditing standards. There were no instances of noncompliance identified and no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls over financial reporting. Our next opinion was in accordance with the uniform guidance regarding the federal monies received by the school board. There were no findings there either, no instances of material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls over compliance. The last report that we issued is an agreed upon procedures report in which we looked at the data that is reported to Bessie annually, and there were no differences noted as a result of those procedures.
Any questions for our auditor?
Mr. President, the Chief Financial Officer has responsibility for the management of the fiscal affairs of the school district, along with the members of that department. On behalf of members of the board, I want to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to the Chief Financial Officer and to the members of that department for the clean record, clean audit that the district has received over the last several years. And we just want to say that when the district gets a clean audit, that gives the public confidence that the fiscal affairs of the district are being managed in accordance with state, federal laws and what have you. So just want to thank them for the work that they do.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Those comments are well deserved for Mr. White and his department. As Mr. Simon said, this year was it was a challenge to get the audit completed on time, and so kudos to Mr. White and his department to make that happen. Any further discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.06, proposed 2022-2023 school session calendar, second reading and adoption. School board policy mandates that the school board shall adopt a calendar for the forthcoming school session. A committee composed of school board members, a business and industry representative, central office administrators, principals, teachers, parents, and students prepared a calendar for board approval in accordance with our policy and procedures. Adoption of the calendar for the forthcoming school year as early as possible allows for the information to be disseminated to all stakeholders in a timely fashion. This item was reviewed at the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee meeting of the board on Monday, December 13, 2021, and is aligned with Goal A of the board's strategic action plan.
I'll move approval of the proposed 2022-23 school session calendar for the second reading and adoption.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bernard, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. And that motion passes. Item 4.07, requests for proposals, multifunction copiers, printers, and service agreement for the district. The district is interested in leasing equipment and purchasing services to meet the printing and copier needs of all schools and departments. It is the intent of the district to seek written proposals for the multifunction printers and service agreements. The district currently has 100 multifunction printers across all buildings and 4 production printers in the copy center. These multifunction printers within the buildings allow for schools to print instructional resources and meet other printing needs of each school or department. In order to have the best quality printers and service agreement, the district is requesting proposals. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the request for proposal, multifunction copies and printers, and service agreement for the district.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.08, bid authorization request, Child Nutrition Program food, supplies, and equipment. The Child Nutrition Program provides school cafeterias with the necessary food, supplies, and equipment to serve nutritious meals. In order to have the best quality food, supplies, and equipment at the most competitive price, the district is seeking bid authorization for the following products: processed food products, frozen food products, produce, milk and milk products, bread and bread products, cafeteria, janitorial, and paper supplies, small cafeteria equipment, and large cafeteria equipment. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the proposal to bid authorization request for the Child Nutrition Program for food supplies and equipment.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote.
Thank you.
That motion passes. Item 4.09, requests for proposals, emergency project management. The district has used the services of a firm to provide project management and grant management consultation following Hurricane Ida. These services were procured on an emergency basis, and this contract expires on January 31st, 2022. If the school district determines that it wishes to hire a firm to provide these services after January 31st, 2022, it would be prudent to issue a request for proposals in order to procure the best qualified firm to provide these services. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the request for proposals for emergency project management at no cost this time.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Any discussion? Second by Mr. Savoy. I think I said.
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. And that motion passes. Item 4.10, extension of contract with Csrs Disaster Recovery Management for disaster project and grant management services. Csrs Disaster Recovery Management is currently under contract with the school board for disaster project and grant management services through January 31st, 2022. This firm was procured on an emergency procurement process. In order to have a firm provide these services while the formal procurement process continues, it is necessary to extend the existing contract with Csrs Disaster Recovery Management for up to 3 months. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the extension of the contract with Csrs Disaster Recovery Management for up to 3 months.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Moving item 4.11, selection of bond underwriter and municipal advisor. In order to facilitate the sale of the planned 2022 series general obligation bonds, it is necessary to contract for the services of a bond underwriter and municipal advisor. A Finance and Audit Committee meeting was held on Friday, January 21st, 2022, to review information and presentations from bond underwriters and municipal advisors. After consideration of the information and presentations, the committee recommended that Cruz and Associates be selected as the bond underwriter and Argent Advisors be selected as a municipal advisor. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the selection of Cruz and Associates as the bond underwriter and Argent Advisors as municipal advisor for the planned 2022 series bonds. The cost of the bond issue is going to be $173,204 for the bond underwriter and $35,000 for the municipal underwriter.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Savoy. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.12, resolution and ordering bond election. A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in School District Number 1 of the Parish of St. Charles, State of Louisiana, to authorize the incurring of debt and issuance of bonds therein, make an application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewithin. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the resolution ordering and calling a special election as the other matters as presented.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion and just note that the approximate cost is $64,000.
Correct.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.13, accounts payable for the month of December 2021. Invoices and other financial obligations of the school district are customarily paid weekly. Requests for approval of these transactions is normally made to the board monthly. The board must approve expenditures of public funds under its jurisdiction. This agenda item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the accounts payable for the month of December 2021 for cost of the general fund for $2,494,532, special revenue fund for $4,385,498, capital projects $819,959, and our debt service fund for $1,189 for a total cost of $7,701,178. Thank you.
I'll second.
Mr. Chair, the debt service fund is only $1,189.
You said $1 million.
Did I say 1 million? Well, 1,189, correct.
So noted. We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.14, demolition of the Hahnville Learning Center property. The Hahnville Learning Center property sustained significant damage due to Hurricane Ida. The cost to repair the property exceeds the amount of insurance proceeds that will be reimbursed to the district. Therefore, we are requesting the approval of the demolition of the Hahnville Learning Center property at 626 Pine Street in Hahnville, Louisiana. This was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the demolition of the Hahnville Learning Center property at 626 Pine Street, Hahnville, Louisiana, at an approximate cost of $275,000.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, second by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That item passes. Item 4.15, bid authorization request, Ethel Scheffner, Elementary School roof, Hurricane Ida damages restoration. Due to damage sustained from Hurricane Ida, it is necessary to make repairs to restore the roof at Ethel Scheffner Elementary School. The construction documents for the Ethel Scheffner Elementary School roof restoration project has been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. The district anticipates funding this project through insurance proceeds and/or federal grant funding. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Ethel Scheffner Elementary School roof Hurricane Ida damages restoration project.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, second by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.16, bid authorization request, New Sarpy Elementary School roof Hurricane Ida damages restoration. Due to damage sustained from Hurricane Ida, it is necessary to make repairs to restore the roof at New Sarpy Elementary School. The construction documents for the New Sarpy Elementary School roof restoration project have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. The district anticipates funding this project through insurance proceeds and/or federal grant funding. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the New Sarpy Elementary roof Hurricane Ida damage restoration project.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, second by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Moving to item 4.17, bid authorization request, Hahnville High School, Building D, Hurricane Ida damages restoration. Due to damage sustained from Hurricane Ida, it is necessary to make repairs to restore Building D at Hahnville High School. The construction documents for Hahnville High School Building D restoration project have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. The district anticipates funding this project through insurance proceeds. However, it has been placed on the school board's FEMA project list in case additional funding is needed. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Hahnville High School Building D Hurricane Ida Damages Restoration Project.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.18, bid authorization requests, Professional Learning Center, Hurricane Ida damages restoration. Due to damage sustained from Hurricane Ida, it is necessary to make repairs to restore the Professional Learning Center. The construction documents for the Professional Learning Center restoration project have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. The district anticipates funding this project through insurance proceeds and/or federal grant funding. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Professional Learning Center Hurricane Ida Damages Restoration Project.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.19, bid authorization request, Destran High School, Building A, Hurricane Ida damages restoration. Due to damage sustained from Hurricane Ida, it is necessary to make repairs to restore Building A at Destran High School. The construction documents for Destran High School Building A restoration project have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. The district anticipates funding this project through insurance proceeds and/or federal grant funding. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Destran High School Building A Hurricane Ida Damages Restoration Project.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.20, bid authorization request, Destran High School, Building B, Hurricane Ida damages restoration. Due to damage sustained from Hurricane Ida, it is necessary to make repairs to restore Building B at Destran High School. The construction documents for Destran High School Building B restoration project have been completed by the architect and are ready for bid. The district anticipates funding this project through insurance proceeds and/or federal grant funding. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the bid authorization request for the Destran High School Building B Hurricane Ida Damages Restoration Project.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Certainly a common theme. We had 6 items involving restoration projects due to Hurricane Ida damages. That item passes. And now we move to item 4.21, which is bid acceptance for HVAC replacement, St. Charles Parish School Board Central Office. The engineer's construction budget for HVAC replacement at the central office is $1,200,000. Bids were received from 3 contractors on Tuesday, January 18, 2022. The lowest base bid, including alternate number 1 and alternate number 2, was received from Gallo Mechanical, LLC, in the amount of $1,277,000. According to the engineer, the bid meets all requirements. Accepting the lowest base bid, including alternate number 1 and alternate number 2 from Gallo Mechanical, LLC, will allow the contractor to begin the project. This agenda item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the lowest base bid, including alternate number 1 and alternate number 2, submitted by Gallo Mechanical, LLC, for the HVAC replacement for the St. Charles Parish School Board Central Office at the cost of $1,277,000.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Nachan, seconded by Mr. Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Moving to item 4.22, requests for proposals, Transportation School Bus Routing Software and Management System. In an effort to improve efficiencies and safety within the Transportation Department, the district is seeking a request for proposals for a new Transportation School Bus Routing Software and Management System. The department has a fleet of 150 buses and over 200 employees that are tasked with transporting approximately 7,000 students daily to and from school, as well as to school activities and functions. In order to have the most efficient, safest, and highest quality service for all stakeholders, the district is requesting proposals for a single source system to meet the needs of the department and district. This item was reviewed at the Transportation Committee meeting of the board on January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the request for proposals for the bus routing and GPS system for the transportation, school bus routing software, and management system.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Alexander, seconded by Mrs. Bernard. Any discussion? I know this is an item that certainly we're excited about because our stakeholders, parents and students are going to see the benefit. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.23, revisions to policy 5.83, property disposal, first reading. Upon review of board policy 5.83 and procedure 5.83R, property disposal, revisions were required in order to reflect a recent change in state law. This item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the revisions to Board Policy 5.83, property disposal, for a first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Savoy. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Nachan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.24, revisions to policy 4.63, drug-free work environment, first reading. Upon review of board policy 4.63, drug-free work environment, significant revisions were required as recommended by Forethought Consulting Incorporated. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we accept the revisions to Board Policy 4.63, drug-free work environment, for a first reading.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Oquan. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.25, personnel items. Staffing management is necessary to maintain effective functioning of St. Charles Parish Public Schools. The Human Resources Department provides a staffing update monthly to the board. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the personnel items as an informational source.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Oquan. Any discussion?
Mr. President, I'd like to recognize two of our appointments that are here tonight, two wonderful educational leaders for this school system, and Ms. Nicole Weber, Administrative Head Start and Pre-Kindergarten Programs. And Ms. Angela Butler, Interim Principal at Mimosa Park Elementary School. And I can just tell you already, I spent part of the day today in our pre-kindergarten and Head Start programs with Ms. Weber. She has been well received. She's already implementing quite a few positive changes, as well as I think I spent part of the day last week or maybe the week before with Ms. Butler. She was already meeting with her administrative staff. She's also been well received at Mimosa Park Elementary. Could not be more proud of those two ladies being
Awesome.
Any further discussion? Please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.26, job description revisions. The superintendent is responsible for recommending job description revisions to the board. Several job description revisions are being recommended aligned to current needs of the Human Resources Department. Professional staff responsibilities which will shift from filling positions to developing and expanding professional and classified pipelines. This was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic action plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the job description revisions.
I'll
for the school district.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. Oquan. Any discussion?
No, these will be in personnel. just to give you a heads up.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That motion passes. Item 4.27, reorganization of the Human Resources Department. Over the past several years, the Human Resources Department has experienced a shift from a traditional transactional department to a more strategically driven department. This shift was prompted by the progressive decline in the labor workforce. This strategic focus necessitates reorganizing the responsibilities of professional and classified staff in the Human Resources Department to allow for a shift in focus from filling positions to developing and expanding professional and classified pipelines. This agenda item was reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, January 24th, 2022, and is aligned with Goal B of the Board's Strategic Action Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the reorganization of the Human Resources Department. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Savoy, seconded by Mr. O'Quinn. Any discussion?
It's for a total cost of between $22,409 to $27,564.
Thank you, Mr. Savoy.
Job description revision. So I'd like to ask the superintendent if he wants to get Ms. Weber up here to explain to the board, or are we comfortable with the information that we have?
Yep. We presented that at the board retreat as well as the committee meeting.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, we good? All right. Good. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That item passes. We now move on to closing items, beginning with item 5.01, standing committee reports. Any chair of a standing committee may present a report at this time.
Mr. President and members of the board, the Transportation Committee met on Monday, January 24th. We had one item on the agenda. It was a request for proposals for school bus routing software and management system. That item was approved tonight. The Transportation Committee members are Mrs. Bernard, Mr. Nachan, and I am the chair. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
Mr. President, the Curriculum Instruction and Assessment Committee meeting met on Monday, January 24th, 2022. We had one item on our agenda. That was the proposed 2022-23 school session calendar for second reading and adoption. It came before the board and was passed earlier this evening. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Bernard. Appreciate it.
Mr. President, the Risk Management Insurance Committee met on Monday night. Members of that committee are myself, Mr. Suffren, and Mr. Robichaud. We had our monthly legal update. Then afterwards, we discussed the health insurance self-funded, the cyber liability insurance renewal, and the approval of an enrolling firm for employee benefits. All those items were brought to the board table tonight and approved. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. O'Quinn.
Mr. President, Capital Improvements Committee met on Monday, the 24th. Multiple items were discussed and brought to the table tonight. The first item was the demolition of the Hornville Learning Center property. The following 6 items were bid authorization requests, and those are for Ethel Scheffner Elementary School roof, New Sarpy Elementary School roof, Hornville High School School Building D, Professional Learning Center, Deschrane High School Building A, Deschrane High School Building B. The last item that was discussed at our committee meeting on Monday was a bid acceptance for the HVAC replacement at the central office All those items were brought to the table tonight and approved, and I appreciate the board's support on that. And, Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Nachan.
Mr. President, as Chair of the Personnel and Policy Committee, along with Mr. Art Oakwayne and Mr. John Smith, met on Monday night to discuss revisions to Policy 5.83, the property disposal, for its first reading, the revisions to Policy 4.63 for drug-free work environment for its first reading, all the personnel items. The job description revisions was tied into the reorganization of the Human Resources Department. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Savoy. The Finance and Audit Committee met on Friday, January 21st, and also Monday, January 24th. The meeting on Monday, we covered 8 items, and all 8 of those items came to the full board during this meeting and were approved. Last Friday, January 21st, the committee received presentations from those who proposed on the services to serve as a bond underwriter and financial advisor. We move on to item 5.02, which is a superintendent's report, and I'll yield the floor to our superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. President. Are you ready to learn a new hobby, language, or skill, or find some peace in these chaotic times? Choose from a wide variety of new as well as some tried and true community ed classes, like learning a new language, CPR, playing the piano or guitar, folk art, creating stained glass, acrylic and pen and ink watercolor painting, journaling, finance, health and wellness, photography, and cookbook publishing. The Community Education Department is pleased to announce our spring 2022 semester. The announcement and brochure with course offerings will be published on the St. Charles Parish Public Schools Community Education page at www.stcharles.k12la.us Community Ed, and on social media the last week in January. The spring 2022 brochure will be emailed to participants for their convenience, and copies of this brochure will be available at various locations in and around St. Charles Parish. Class registration will begin Monday, January 31st, and continue through Friday, February 25th. The semester will begin on Thursday, March 31st. Each graduating high school senior in a Louisiana public high school is required, as part of his or her individual graduation plan, to complete either the free application for federal student aid or complete and sign a parental non-participation form. In order to meet this graduation requirement, parents must either complete the FAFSA application located at fafsa.gov or contact your child's school counselor at Desiree High School or Honville High School to complete the parental non-participation form. Additional questions regarding this Louisiana Department of Education graduation requirement can be answered by your child's school counselor or principal. This month has been challenging to maintain efficient school system operations due to staff impacted as a result of community spread of COVID. As a positivity rate remains high in our community, we ask that you please keep your child home if he or she is exhibiting any signs of illness. If you need to report a COVID-related illness or contact, please reach out to our COVID nursing team via the online Google form located on our district webpage. As a reminder, wearing masks is mandatory on all school buses, and all individuals are strongly recommended to wear a mask, whether vaccinated or unvaccinated, both indoors and outdoors, in settings where social distancing cannot be adhered to. Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Ortling. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We stand adjourned.